The Super Retriever Series, for the first time ever, made their appearance in Natchez, Mississippi. And for 5 days, we watched all these qualifying teams strive to make it into the Super Six and a shot at the coveted crown. The title of who is the best of the best, who'll jump the farthest, the highest, who'll run with perfection. And the crowns are starting to be awarded. The amateur retriever champions have already emerged, and now we look forward to the open stakes. They've qualified all year to get here, worked hard to conquer, and hopefully in the end be crowned the Super Retriever Series Crown Champions. Well, welcome to it, another Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba. I'm Tommy Sanders here alongside one of the greatest of all time, trainer and handler J. Paul Jackson. J. Paul, we're right in the middle of handing out crowns to some deserving champions.
Yes, we are, Tommy. Thank you very much, and welcome back to Natchez, Mississippi. Now, over on the parade ground this week, we've already seen several of our super flyers receive crown champions, and also, of course, in the amateur division, we saw Mike Gibson and Trigg come out on top as Super Retriever Series amateur crown champions.
Well, hats off to them. They had to go through a tough bunch of customers to get that championship, and it is well deserved. But right now, we're going to turn our attentions to our open division, our pros. There are our Super Six in that division right now who are getting ready to do battle. And what are these guys facing? I mean, it is a test.
So, Tommy, what we have here is a true hybrid hunt-savvy test. We've got elements of both the field trial game, the handler in the white coat, but also we have elements from a real hunting situation. As you can see, there are a lot of decoys spread throughout the course. We've got the handler firing a gun at the line, and, of course, we've got a couple of big long marks, including what has proven to be so far through the amateurs probably the toughest bird of the entire test. Mark number 2, big long bird, comes out at 250 yards.
Well, it is a beautiful course to be sure, and we have found out through the week that it can be deceptively difficult, and that's what makes this such an interesting competition. To the line right now, Stephen Durrance from Taylor Farm Kennels in Sylvania, Georgia, and his dog Mason, coming in with 180 combined total faults through Series 1 through 4.
Now remember, the judges here, these are marks, not blinds. They're looking for marking, memory, and control, and they're looking for the dog that proceeds directly to the area.
Stephen can tell us a whole lot about this dog he thinks a lot of, and that is Mason.
Oak Point's traveling man. His name is Mason. He's my buddy. He's got 10 grand passes. He's also an SRSC, and he's in the Master National Hall of Fame. It's always a journey to get here. The crown takes a lot to get here in the first place as far as qualification and the rigors it takes to go through it. Bobo is the first dog that I ever ran that won SRS with, who is Mason's father. Like I said on day one, it's about us doing the best we can on every test. So if we can pick people off by doing the best we can, I'm just going to keep worrying about me and my dogs and doing the best we can. If Mason was a professional athlete, probably be somebody like Dustin Pedroia. A lot of talent, but works for everything he gets, and he doesn't need a break. All he needs is an opportunity to show what he's got.
J. Paul, you asked all these guys for these athlete comparisons, and none of them hesitated. They came with some good stuff on that answer.
Everybody knew exactly who they thought their dog would be, and I really like his analogy too, because Mason truly is a blue-collar dog. He's a working man's dog. He puts a tremendous amount of effort into everything that he does. This dog also works very well with Stephen as a team. Interesting note here, Mason is the son of Bobo, who is a former Super Retriever Series champion. And later in the day, we're going to see Stephen running another dog, Georgia, who is out of 2-time SRS Crown champion, Dude. And I'll tell you, Mason's tearing it up here, Tommy. He really is working hard at this. Holding a good line, diving right into that cover. Dog shows no fear.
Well, he is right in there. You expect him to emerge very quickly from that. 8 years old, Mason, this lab with mainly hunt test experience.
Yeah, he is mainly a hunting dog, but Stephen interjects a lot of field trial training into his regime every single day. And Steven, I'll tell you, I've watched him grow up and mature over the years as a trainer. Just a super fine young man, beautiful wife, Kendra, beautiful family, and very, very well respected. Handles with ice water in his veins. He's just so cool. And you can see here, Mason has kind of fallen into, a no man's land there. But Steven, he's not one to panic quickly. Bam. Gave the dog the opportunity to recover and made a decision as well when it became obvious that Mason had split these two marks and wasn't really sure where he was headed. Steven chose to take out that long bird, 250 yards, that has been so difficult. And I'm sure that his thinking in that was, hey, we're so close to it already. We blew by the other bird. Let's go on and take this long bird that has been the Achilles heel for a lot of these dogs out of the equation.
Well, he got the job done in a pretty efficient way, you have to admit. A little bit of work left to go, though.
Yeah, this is no gimme. As a matter of fact, all 5 of these marks have proven difficult to various dogs. It's interesting, you'll see one dog really struggle on the short one, another dog really struggle on the long one, but this bird down the very center with the shadows, with the snow goose decoys, it has really thrown them fits. A lot of dogs doing what Mason did right there, falling into the middle. Again, Steven's very patient. Give him a chance to work it out. He's got a lot of faith in this dog. They've been doing this together for a long time, and boom, right there it pays off. Picks up that last bird clean for a total of 38 faults.
38 faults is pretty darn impressive. Puts them on top of the leaderboard to a team. Cumulative total coming up, Wayne, his handler Clark Kennington. The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba. Sporting dogs give us everything we ask and then some. Their nutrition should do the same. And by Tangle-Free Waterfowl. Visit Natchez and Prairie Rock Outfitters. Welcome back to Natchez, Mississippi, home of the Super Retriever Series Crown Championship for 2019, presented by Eukanuba. And J. Paul, we couldn't pick a prettier place on the mighty Mississippi than this place right here.
No, sir. Natchez, where the river is wide and the history runs deep, and a little bit more is about to be made today.
And trying to make history right now. That's Wayne at the line, handler Clark Kennington. Wayne, 6 years old, thrills, burning daylight. That's his full name.
Yeah, and he comes into the series with 176 faults. I'm sure Clark is very, very focused on not giving up any ground if he possibly can. And you can see the focus on Wayne's part right there, too.
Clark Kennington, it seems, is a perennial in the finals of the Crown Championship. But after winning last year, well, maybe there's a little more pressure.
To get back to the finals, it took a lot. And it's a lot of pressure on you, especially when you're the returning Crown champion. Everybody's looking at you. I don't feel like any score's safe. It doesn't matter where you are, you can make up ground. And Wayne is a prime example of that if you watched him through this week. He's always been that dog that we knew had the talent. He just always got in his own way. There's normally a bird or two that would keep him out of it. He got his first SRS win here in Natchez this February, which gave him the title and qualified him for the crown. If Wayne were a human athlete, what would he be? To me, he would be the prime example of one of those excellent football players that has all the talent in the world, but somehow always gets in their way. That would be Wayne, in my opinion. Because he's always got all the talent in the world, but he always seems to do something to get in his own way. And this year, he's finally coming out of that. He's getting of that age to where he's maturing and he's not getting in his way.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Clark talks about him making mistakes and really being his own worst enemy, the dog, that is. But maturity is the thing that's the game changer there. And I think we're going to see less and less. This is a young dog, super athlete, and right now he's not making any mistakes at all.
Well, this is a competition that should be cut out for Wayne. Clark says his weakness is control on blinds, and his strength is as a marker. And this is a marker and memory heavy test right here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that first bird, I don't know if you could have done it much better. 0 faults. Right here, Clark has seen a lot of guys get in trouble. And also, here's a really good contrast between the amateurs and the pros. You see, the professionals all seem to know in their mind already. That's that thinking ahead part, like a chess game. Clark knew exactly where he was going to stop him, And he had a game plan for this. And as a result, you know, we've seen dogs handle here and rack up a lot of faults, but this is turning out pretty nice. Had a few whistles in there, but all really, really good handles. And as you see, only 24 faults through 3 birds.
Yeah, that Mark III has been the speed bump for just about all the teams here all competition long as we enter the final round. And now we're going for mark number 4, the strip of cover there.
And again, this dog is in a really good place. The breeze is laid down, but doesn't matter. Look at that, Tommy. Almost perfect.
Automatic.
Wayne!
Finally here, we're going for the big money bird. Clark is sitting in the driver's seat. I'm sure that he knows it. He also knows where the other handlers stand, and so he's going to let this dog roll as long as he's on that line, I believe. Doing a really good job here. Tell you, it doesn't look like he's going to check up, though.
He's not going to stop. That could be a problem. But
that was a very, very smart whistle.
Yeah.
Now he's working to bring him back in, get this bird picked up. Again, he's on the downwind. Oh! The dog did not trust his nose. Tommy, did you see that? He looked. He smelled it, and he looked that way, but he didn't trust his nose.
Maybe something having to do with being 6 years old, but he's getting there. No one can deny that. And look at that score, 44 faults for Clark Kennington and Wayne. But not enough. They had too many points coming in here, so they're languishing in second place as it stands right now. Coming up when we return, the Eukanuba Spotlight.
Welcome back. J. Paul Jackson here with the Eukanuba Spotlight, and today I have with me Dr. Jill Klein, Site Director of the Eukanuba Center for Pet Health and Nutrition. Jill, great to have you back with us today.
Thank you very much. Good to see you again.
Great to see you. Now, in our last segment, we talked a little bit about how important nutrition is for these canine athletes. Tell me the role that protein and fat play in that.
Protein and fat are the 2 driving calorie providers in an athletic diet. But protein isn't just about calories. It's also really important not only for muscle tone, but for the immune system. And most importantly for athletes like these guys, it also helps them with their aerobic capacity. So it helps them run longer if they have really good protein in their diet.
Did not know that. So what role does fat play?
Now, fat's purpose in the diet of an athletic dog is to provide all of the energy so that protein can be used to build muscles and the immune system. Fat is all of the energy that the dogs need when they're working really hard.
And where does digestibility come in the picture?
Digestibility is the linchpin of all of this, because you can have a diet that on the back of the bag may say that it's really high in protein or really high in fat, but if it's not digestible, it doesn't matter. And digestibility, if I define it for you, is how much of that food that the dog eats that turns into nutrients and crosses out of the gut into the bloodstream to get to the other tissues.
Great. Well, Jill, thank you so much. And now let's go back to the action.
So how about we change gears right now, head back to the dock, and get ready for the Raider Run, which is what? The Raider Run is, as you would guess, it's about speed. It's about getting out there. It's about going fast, grabbing the bumper, but it's also about getting back, making the turn, and heading back. You'll get the idea when we get into it here.
Yes, sir, Tommy, and I'll tell you, this is a lot of fun. One of my favorite parts of the Dog games. Now, Raider Run, here's the deal. We start out 10 feet back, 3, 2, 1, let her rip. And you see Marvel taking a big jump there. Now, this is a timed event, and Marvel's really churning, grabs the dummy, turns around, and the timer will stop when Marvel's nose gets back to that 10-foot marker that you're about to see here in the background.
First run for Marvel was a 17:06.
1697, not quite as good, but still a great run for Marvel. And coming up here, we see Bazinga and Michelle King.
Bazinga, a border whippet. Run number 1 was a 16:31. The time to beat still 16:10.
Man, and Bazinga is absolutely cooking here, Tommy. I'll tell you, this dog looks like it's got a motor pushing it. Wow,
Look
15
at that,
seconds.
50 even. That is a great improvement over round number 1. Bazinga looking great. Here's Bullet. Jennifer Voss, hometown favorites from right here in Natchez, Chocolate Lab. Got those webbed feet, ought to be able to power through pretty effectively. Got a little wide on the turn there. I don't know if that cost him some time.
Yeah, definitely cost Bullet a little bit of time. Of course, Bullet's a big dog, and I'll tell you what, you don't turn a big ship in a small space.
That's right. That's 18 seconds. That beat their first run. Still the time to beat, though, is 15 seconds. Here's Ka-Ching with Jennifer Davis.
I'll tell you, the way that Ka-Ching is smoking, that's exactly what Ka-Ching's looking for. Hear that cash register at the end. Go, Ka-Chinga, go. Can he do it?
Gotta be 15 seconds.
Not going to be
Just
enough.
ran out of steam just a tiny bit. At the end right there. So your winner, Bazinga, Michelle King, and Bazinga with that time of 15 even. Hail the champions. Coming up, we got more retriever trials. The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba, the leader in premium nutrition for sporting and working dogs. The United Kennel Club, dogs that do more. And by XL Boats and Mud Buddy Motors. Welcome back to the Super Retriever Series presented by Eukanuba. This is the Crown Championships. We are at Mount Repose Plantation. The open division, the pros in action. We've seen two dogs run, and now up Luke Coeur and Bang.
Yeah, and Luke Coeur and Bang, they hail from Page, Texas. Bang is an 8-year-old black lab. He's a Super Retriever Series champion, a master hunter, and Bang also is qualified all age.
It's going to be the second trip to the Crown Championships for Bang, fourth trip for Luke Coeur.
Yeah, they come into this series with a combined score of 157 points. Of course, Luke also has another dog here in the finals. We're going to see him come up to the line later with Fire, who has absolutely been on fire.
Bang, 8 years old, black lab.
For me to get to this point, it's overcoming nerves. This is my fourth crown. I'm only 24 years old. This is my first time to make the finals. So for me, it's keeping myself together and staying focused and taking it one dog at a time and one bird at a time. Bang's played it pretty consistent. He's posted a pretty consistent score the whole time. He's kind of held his position. He's gained ground a little bit, lost ground a little bit. For him, he's had a pretty consistent and held his spot. I would say if Bang was a human athlete, I would have to compare him to Shaquille O'Neal. He's a big dog. He's that superstar dog. When he does it, he looks real good, but he's also known to miss a free throw every now and then.
I like that. All their descriptions are great when they compare them to these well-known athletes.
You know, and that is particularly a good description about the free throw, too, because right here we're seeing something we haven't seen today. We're seeing Bang, just like Shaq couldn't hardly hit a free throw. Bang is really, really struggling with this little short bird. And
yeah, this is the shortest bird, 50 yards from that massive oak tree, and this is just giving him fits.
Yeah, and he's going to have a handle to the area here. And remember, these dogs are scored on faults. 2 points for a whistle, 5 points for wandering, 10 points for a handle to the area. The shorter the mark is, of course, the harsher the judges are going to judge the line to that bird. And, you know, he racked up quite a few points there, Tommy.
Sure did.
Good.
The free throws. The free throws are getting him here.
Amen. That is it exactly. But I tell you what, just like Shaq, Luke is also a competitor. He is very, very intense. You can see him lining up Bang there. He knows that he gave up some ground. Wow! But he made up some there.
Oh, man.
That was probably the best retrieve we have seen on that mark all day.
That has been the tough mark for everyone. He just got it in the reverse of all the rest of the competitors. The easy ones are hard for him, and vice versa on the hard ones.
Exactly, and I'm sure Luke was relieved to see that quick pickup. Gives him confidence. He's made up some ground. Again, spent some time lining Bang up, trying to get him to focus in on that bird, but gonna see another handle to the area here, and this is gonna be really, really costly. You know, we've seen a couple of great runs coming into this. Mason and Wayne have both really done well, and potentially I think they're going to make up quite a bit of ground on Bang here.
Good.
Although he didn't handle much, it still was a handle to the area.
Bang!
Luke Coeur has qualified 8 dogs into this Crown Championship.
You know, for a young man so young, it's amazing. And think back to the second series, Tommy, when 3 of the top 6 dogs were handled by Luke. He has really done a magnificent job, and he's going to be one to watch in this sport in the future. Now, you see him letting Bang roll here, and that was a gamble on his part, and I'll tell you why he did that. He knew that he made up some ground on that 3rd bird. The 4th one wasn't that bad. I'm sure that he was clinging to the hope that, hey, if I let him roll, maybe he'll recover. And unfortunately, it doesn't appear that that gamble paid off. Of course, you've also got to remember that the top 3 finishers here will automatically earn a bid to next year. So he was playing for that 3rd. Probably didn't work out.
Came in with 157 cumulative points. That took him up to 243, so not a good move on the leaderboard there. In fact, 3rd place among the 3 teams that have run today, but we'll have 3 more running the next time we see you on the Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba.